Tonight, we're trading in sneakers for some swim trunks. We're diving in head first right now on Beyond the Arch. He is a junior criminal justice major and a swimmer for Marywood Swimming-Diving program. He competes in distance and freestyle events for the Pacers. Hailing from Clifton Park, New York, he graduated from Shenendehowa High School. While in high school, he won 8 Section 2 championships in a row and won the B final in 2015. Now he is making a splash at Marywood. Before I sit down with him, I go one-on-one with Zack Costello next.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it,
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got, or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Today I'm here at the Aquatic Center, or the pool, where I'm about to go one-on-one with swimmer Zack Costello. He's going to put me through a bunch of drills and stuff, so I better get ready to go.
So the first thing we're going to be doing is called slingshots. The way it works is we both start off kind of staggered on the wall. We both push off. I'm in front of him and he's behind me. He grabs onto my ankle, and when we get to like the middle of the pool, he pulls back on me on my ankle to let him catch up with me, and then it's an all-out race to the other end of the pool. We just put it under between our legs, and that helps us stay afloat. These are for the paddles. Yeah. So basically, when you have them on, it helps to simulate the race pace, like a race pace feel. When you're coming through and your arms up through it, it's to help you. You can feel how much water you're actually catching to get farther down the pool faster. So it's just basically regular
Just how hard, but you just put it feel up your pen, so we're not using the mic at all. Yeah. So don't kick or anything. Yeah. Well, I thought I knew how to swim until today, so Zack definitely taught me some pointers, and hopefully it'll make me a better swimmer. Maybe have some dragging rides up at the lake in the summer or something. So.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook. And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
Right, mi cariño. So like I said, everything I learned about cooking, I learned from Grandma's empanadas. Shall we go again?
Yep.
Mix the beef with the onions with the peppers with the paprika with the garlic with the oregano with the cumin. Got it?
Got it.
Throw on the olives, stir, season, stir again, pour out the flour, roll out the dough, make a circle, drop in a fistful of filling, fold over, press down, and ta-da!
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, butt in the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Welcome back to the show. I'm pleased to be joined by Zack Costello. Welcome to the show, Zack. Thanks for being here.
Happy to be here.
All right, well, let's start off by figuring out a little bit about Zack the person before we get into Zack the swimmer. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey to Marywood here? How did you end up here?
I really just found Marywood on a college search, and then I also, when I was looking into the swimming team, I found that the original coach, I actually knew him from my club days. So he was one of the more major reasons why I wanted to come here.
That's interesting. So the coaching obviously has changed since you've been here, right?
Yes.
So does that make it easier, harder for you? What do you think in terms of? Do you like the new coach? I mean,
Yeah, Noah's a great guy. Noah's one of the more greater coaches I've had in my swimming career. He really knows his stuff, and I've been happy to be under him for 2 years now.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about your major too, because obviously you're just not a swimmer here, you're a student. So I have here criminal justice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about that. And
the criminal justice major is a really fun major. Like the professors here at Marywood are really know their stuff, and they really know their field. It's awesome to learn a lot of stuff I've gotten to learn, and also like it's gonna help me for my future job, which I want to go back to New York and become a New York State Trooper.
Wow, nice. That's a pretty involved, dangerous sort of a job. So what makes you want to pursue a job like that, knowing that it is a little bit dangerous? I mean, more than a little bit dangerous. It is dangerous.
I've got uncles who are retired. One's a retired state trooper, and one is a captain of a police department down in New Jersey. And I just see how they carry themselves, and also how I want to go out and help people, and I want to shape I really want to reshape the American perception of police. I want everybody to know that police are out there to help the community, not just to arrest you and take you to jail.
I think it's really noble. That's really interesting. That's something that's always in the news now. So that's pretty. That's a pretty noble cause, I think. That's so good for you. Absolutely. Now, you kind of just said there that you want to sort of reinvent the police image, kind of. So, how involved is your major here in terms of just the load and everything, in terms of meshing with your swimming schedule, in terms of anything really?
Sometimes it can be a struggle with practicing. Like sometimes we would have long nights with practice or long weekends with meets, and then I wouldn't be able to get back to my work until like Sunday, and I've have a test on Monday. So it's hard. It's a struggle, but also swimming is great because it helps me stay focused and stay organized, because I know I have to sometimes get ahead or just stay up with my teachers and make sure my teachers know what's going on in my life, and they'll be able to work with me. And so it's like swimming has given me that time management skill.
So now we've had a few athletes on here, and I've asked this question to a bunch of them, and they've kind of said the same thing, but I'll leave you up to answer this for yourself now. Do you think that being a student athlete and the athlete portion of it helps you in the classroom, or do you think it sort of hinders a little bit, or does it motivate you, or what do you think?
I think being a swimmer motivates me to be a student, because if my grades start to slip, then I start to get in trouble with the team. Like probably like the first punishment would be I can't swim in the next upcoming meet. But then as my grades keep starting to slip, I lose even more privileges, and then to ultimately not lose eligibility and not be able to swim.
Well, it's definitely good motivation then, the idea that you actually get to swim. That's probably a big motivating factor. Now, how do you balance everything? How do you approach the idea of work versus practice? How do you, in your mind, try to make everything work right?
I just take it one step at a time. Usually swimming helps me like unwind, so then usually when I go to practice, I forget about all my schoolwork and just kind of get into the practice and just go and do what my coach is saying. And then when I get out, I start to think about what's next, what do I have to do. So it's kind of just one step at a time.
So I imagine your approach to swimming in a lot of ways is probably similar to your approach with schoolwork. It's kind of just, a lot of times it's a build, right? Is it a gradual build?
My coach's philosophy is always one race, one event at a time. Don't think about what you have next or coming up. Just be focused and stay in the moment. And that's actually really helped me like stay focused and just do good in my meets.
So do you have any other interests outside of athletics, or outside of even swimming, maybe other athletics, or just what do you like to do in your spare time, I guess?
This semester I joined the fraternity on campus, the newly formed fraternity, so that's been pretty much occupying more of the time I have away from the pool. So that's been a real good help, because I joined it because I wanted to have a better friend base, and boy did that work out.
Oh, good. And so maybe we could talk a little bit about the new fraternity, because it is new on campus.
Yeah.
So how does that? You said that's helped you in terms of finding new friends and stuff. And so talk a little bit about the fraternity. Why don't you?
So we're a service-based fraternity. We deal a lot. We've had our service. Some of the service we've done is like we delivered Thanksgiving meals last year, and what else did we do? And then also coming up, currently we're gonna have a car wash. It's gonna be the week after we come back from Easter break. We'll have a campus-wide and community-wide car wash for everybody.
Do you follow sports?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so do you have any favorite teams? Do you have any?
Mine's the New York Mets and the New York Jets in football, and the Penguins for hockey.
Well, I'm a Penguins fan, so
awesome.
We share that. I'm a Yankee fan, so maybe not so much there. But I'm an Eagles fan, so I guess separate conferences.
I don't follow. Like I say, I'm a Jet fan, but I don't really follow the NFL that closely as like I do baseball.
Gotcha. So did you have any favorite athletes growing up?
Mine growing up was Mike Piazza, catcher for the Mets.
It's funny because we had Anthony Navarro on first week, and he said he was a catcher for the baseball team. He said the same thing about Piazza. So, what do you like about Mike?
He was a great guy, and he was one of the legends for the Mets. So, and I kind of just followed him throughout. I don't really remember some of his stats, but
no, I got you.
I just really liked him.
Well, now, is there anybody in the swimming world you look up to, or no?
Not really. I kind of I know where I am in the swimming world, and I know it's like I know where everybody else is, so I kind of just use myself as
blazing your own trail. That's the best way to do it.
Exactly.
Now, if there were 3 athletes you could meet.
3 athletes?
Yeah. And they could be living or dead. Who would you want to meet and why?
I'd want to meet Michael Phelps because he's just the greatest swimmer ever.
Agreed.
And he sounds like a good guy. Probably David Wright, third baseman for the Mets.
Absolutely.
And I'd say Jose Reyes too, shortstop for the Mets too.
Absolutely. Solid list right there. And we have much more with Zack right after this.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook. And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
Right, mi cariño. So like I said, everything I learned about cooking, I learned from Grandma's empanadas. Shall we go again?
Yep.
Mix the beef with the onions with the peppers with the paprika with the garlic with the oregano with the cumin. Got it?
Got it.
Throw on the olives, stir, season, stir again, pour out the flour, roll out the dough, make a circle, drop in a fistful of filling, fold over, press down, and ta-da!
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep
pedaling. Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners when you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Welcome back to Beyond the Arch as my conversation with Zack Costello continues. All right, Zack, we got to know about you now. Now we're going to get to know about you as a swimmer a little bit. Okay, so basically, why swimming? Let's start right there. I feel like that's a good place to start.
Well, my parents put me in all the usual sports, soccer, baseball, basketball, and then I wasn't really too good at all of them. But then one of my dad's friends suggested swimming, and then I went into swimming when I was 11 years old, and I absolutely loved it. It was a lot of fun, and it just carried on through.
I guess you could say you were kind of a fish out of water in those other first couple sports?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, well, that's good then. We got you where you need to be. All right, so when did you start swimming?
When I was 11.
Okay. And what was that, just like a rec league? Or was it like
so there was a club around me called the Albany Starfish. And one of my dad's friends knew about it. They had their children were in it, and I started out in it, and I had a blast, and that carried on through my high school years and into and then now here when I'm swimming for Marywood.
Now, did you learn to swim at 11, or did you take swim lessons?
I took swim lessons when I was younger, just at the local pool, and then not till 11 is not when I started competitive swimming.
So when you were younger, was there any sign that you would have a knack for this, or was it just kind of you decided to join the league and all of a sudden you found out I'm good at this? Or?
Yeah, it kind of was just all of a sudden when I started it, I found out that I was actually kind of good at it, and I knew I kind of got the hang of it and was able to improve pretty quickly.
Was it pretty early on that you felt like, this is, I could be successful at this, or did somebody tell you, you know what, you could be successful at this?
It was that's kind of like both. To answer that question, like I had a feeling that I could be really good, and then also getting the acceptance from my dad. He was the one that was in my corner the whole time, so getting the acceptance for him like really showed that I could actually do something really fun, have a good time at it.
So I was gonna ask you who your mentor, someone that introduced you to the sport was. I guess that would be your dad then. Probably.
Yeah,
Yep.
my dad was behind me the whole step. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
My dad was behind me the whole ride, and he still is too. He loves coming to the meets at Marywood. So.
Well, I think that's great to have, especially, you know, they say it's like a father figure, but he really is your father. That's absolutely great that it's in the family, you know, you have that support. I think that's crucial for any athlete, a strong support system, you know.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a coach that you point to that really pushed you in the right direction, do you think? Or
that'd have to be when I was back in Starfish. His name was Todd Stryker. He was probably the better coach I've ever had in my life, and he really pushed me. He really helped me improve, and probably if I never had gotten coached under him, I probably wouldn't be as good as I am.
Interesting. Now, we talked before that you said you pretty much felt early on you kind of were going to have success, and so you could anyway. Now, was it just natural, like you came in there and you were just a natural, or do you think it was sort of a slow build up to where you are now? Or
definitely a slow build, because the way it works is if or at least the people I've been around, they started swimming when they were 5 years old. So I was behind the ball, but it was still a slow build up. But then as I got better and I got older, I found that I was able to start to be able to keep up with those people that have been swimming since they were 5, and even some of them I was able to beat too.
Nice. Well, I think that's a nice story too, because I think a lot of people are a little deterred, especially when they're starting later. They feel like they could never make it. So what do you think the key is to making up that lost ground, so to speak, on these other people?
It's just, the key is just practice, making practice every day and doing stuff outside of practice that will help you, like weightlifting and cardio, and then it's just doing a lot of yards a day.
Yeah, so that kind of segues nicely into what I was going to ask you next, is how do you get yourself into swimmer shape? Because I know, I see these things about, Michael Phelps' breakfast and stuff, and how many thousands of calories he's burning every day and stuff. So what's the routine like? How do you get yourself into the right shape?
Well, there's a difference between, me and Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps is swimming. He only does swimming. I've got school work to think about and other stuff. But Michael Phelps swims thousands and thousands of yards a day. I'm only doing 1 or 2 practices a day, and then but also during the off season I try to eat as healthy as I can, with some exceptions. With
of course.
Parties, holidays, and stuff. But then also I like to weightlift a lot, and I like to do a lot of cardio.
Now, how many yards would you say that it takes for every race? You know what I mean? You only race maybe, I don't know, what I'm trying to say is how much does it take just for one race? How much practice just for one race?
So I'll give you so I swim the mile, which is 1,650 yards. So for that, a usual practice is about 3 times that.
Oh, that's pretty aggressive.
So one practice we could do 3 broken miles in a row. So that's about kind of gives you an idea of how much we train.
I'm tired just hearing it. No, okay, no. In a race too, I think this is a question a lot of times asked in the swimming community, or it seems like, for me, when I watch the Olympics or something, they talk a lot about this. Do you race more to your competition, or do you kind of peak over at the next lane, or do you kind of just like to set a pace and try to feel it, or what do you think it is?
All of the above.
Okay.
So sometimes when I always peek over to the other competitors and see how far they are, and see if I can stay with some of them. I usually, when I'm in a tough race and I see people going out a lot faster than I would for a very long event, I stay back to try to find that middle ground to where I can still stay up with them, but also save some energy for the longer races and have enough energy to close at the end.
how was the transition from high school into college swimming for you? Because I know we said in the bio you were obviously very successful in high school. So how was the transition for you?
It was a little different. High school, we were more, there was a more like of a team-based aspect to it. Like obviously the Marywood is a team, but there's kind of like, there's a difference. Like my high school, we were focused on winning a meet and having good races to win that meet. As being on the Marywood team, we still want to win, but also we're more focused on cheering on our teammates and having good races all over the place.
Now, so this might be one of the last questions here. Senior year next year, we talked about it before, one last go around. So how do you approach the season? Do you have any goals? What's it like last season?
my junior year was the first year I have been able to fully get through the season because I've been dealing with some shoulder injuries. But the times I made, I swam at our conference meet this year is a marker and a point where I'm going to want to start off for senior year and then hopefully bring them down to where I wanted to at the beginning of my freshman year. Because I came in with certain goals on my freshman year, but then was halted by injuries. So then I want to ultimately get to where I wanted to be freshman year.
Absolutely. Well, hey, good luck on your senior season. Thanks very much for being here.
Thank you.
And next, I'll tell you what you can expect on our next episode. Don't go anywhere.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This is the story of a boy who was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
I want to thank Zack for coming tonight. We will not be airing a show next week, but be sure to tune in on April 11th when diver Courtney Snyder shares with us what it was like to make it to the NCAA Regionals. Head over to TV-Marywood's official YouTube page to watch full episodes of the show. Be sure to follow TV-Marywood on Twitter and like us on Facebook. From all of us at TV-Marywood, have a great night.